Okay. Hi, Al. I'm here today because I got some new fly line and a new reel and some backing, and I'm going to set up a fly reel. My kids just got me a fly rod to try out. It's a long story how they got a fly rod, but anyway, it's a 7-weight fly rod, and they said, "Do I need a fly rod?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I always need a fly rod." So I picked up a very inexpensive. This is one of those Sugeling, whatever, reels. It was about $30, I think. Really kind of a really sweet reel. I have a number of these. I figure I'm not going to use this a whole lot. And I've used reels without drags, and I just palm them, and it seems to work fine. So I have that. So I'm going to take you through the knots and what's important. The first knot that we're going to do is, first of all, this is going to be this is a normal left hand. Let's see, let me feel how this is. So this is going, oh, this is actually, oh, this is a right hand. This is right hand. Cool. I have my lines typically as a right hand retrieve, so I have to flip mine around. I cast properly. I cast with my right hand, switch to my left, and then reel in. So set up that way. It's so unusual for me to have it set up that way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I've got some backing, and I'm going to put a arbor knot on it. So the way an arbor knot works is, so here we go with the arbor knot. I'm going to feed it through here. Since this doesn't have a typical open bail, which makes it a little trickier than normal, but it'll work. And I have to bring it all the way around and bring it through this section here where I'm going to be tying it. Okay, so now to tie the Albright knot, basically you just take a regular knot and we just make a typical single-handed knot around the running line. See how that's just a knot, and then I'm going to tighten it. Now, if I just pull, this is going to slip, right? So the trick is that then you take this end, this tag line, and tie another overhand knot. This is sometimes called instead of the arbor knot, this is also called the jam knot. And you tie that little, see that little knot on there? In fact, on this one, I'm going to tie two right up against each other because I'm a little, that's awfully small. So now when I pull this, you're going to see this happen. This is kind of cool. See, as you pull it, it actually tightens up on there. So now I've got my line here. I'm using a book. It's a fly tying book because you got to do it with that. And I just run the line through the book. The book just acts as a tensioning device. And now, get this started. This is always the hardest part. There we go. Just to get this, there we go. Once you get it going, you're okay. So now we're going to run this line through. I don't know if you can see what's going on here, but this is running through the book. Whenever you try to do this on camera, it's twice as hard. Now, this is a spool of 100 yards of backing, and I don't know, I think I may have used some of it before. I'm just going to eyeball this. The reason for backing originally was because the arbors were very narrow, and the idea was it was just to make the arbor bigger. Now we kind of use it as a way of, my tensioning thing is falling apart. Now we use it as kind of a way to, I'm having a hard time with this today. Why are you fighting me? Why are you fighting me? Now we use it primarily just to put a kind of a little bit of a cushion on the back of the fly line. And if you somehow get a giant carp that takes your line 300 feet, or steelhead, you'll have some line available. But I'm just going to fill this up so I get a bit of line coming through. Try to get some here in the center. And then we're going to go through this. Okay. That seems to work better. And we got our backing on here. Now the best way to do this is to take it to a fly shop and have them do it. But I'm showing you how to do it on right here. Okay. Okay, that's enough backing. We're never ever going to use that much. So now I'm going to cut this and set this aside. Okay. So you can see I've got just a little bit of backing there. So now I'm going to take my fly line, and here's the fly line they give you. Usually if it's wrapped, there'll be a little marker. It says this end to reel, okay? So which is always very handy. So the first thing I always do is, again, this is a 7, so I am going to mark my fly line, even on this end. I put one long mark. It's basically Roman numerals. I put a long one and then 2 shorts. There we go. I'll do this on the other end too. I do it on both ends. See, so it's a long and 2 shorts. That just tells me always that this is a 7-weight line. So now we're going to tie the Albright knot onto this. And the Albright knot's a pretty cool knot, actually. I think it's one of the cooler knots around. And basically, you take your fly line. Some fly lines have a loop here, and I'm not exactly sure what you do with that loop, but this one luckily doesn't. So you just fold this over, just kind of loop it. We're down here at the end of the line that you're probably never going to ever see, okay, the next, in the next 20 years. So you stick this through, you run it through the loop, and then you kind of grab it with your thumb, okay? So now I have it coming through the loop and this tag end hanging over. You want to give yourself plenty of tag end here. Then you just kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, but by pinching the loops, we wrap this around the fly line loop about 5 or 6 times. Okay. And then run it back through in the same direction as the other one is. So that one's going through the loop, and then now this one's coming through the loop. And then you kind of pull the whole thing. And this will tighten. I don't know if you can see it. It tightens into this very, very nice knot that is not going to come apart. And I'll get my nippers and I'll trim this one as close as I can. There we go. And take off this tag end. And if you wanted to, you could even put some junk on there, but I'm not going to bother. Now I'll take the little tag that says this end towards reel, because we're there. And I'm going to do this basically the same thing. I'm going to push this through the book. and basically start running this line on here. Okay, and we'll probably cut this part since it's incredibly boring until I get near the other end. There. And now there's my other end. So again, I'm going to take my magic marker. Not quite at the very, very end there. Somewhere, 3-4 inches up. I'm going to give it the long line. And then 2 short lines. And get that nice and good. This is the part that's going to see the most abuse, so you want to do a good job on here. See, so I have that marked. So now I have a welded loop there. I'm ready to go. I just put a leader on the end of that, and this puppy is ready to go. Now, I was lucky because it was set up this way. Most reels you get are set up for a left-handed retrieve. Typically the way you correct that is you take this thing off, and then there's a little nut in there that you just flip over. Go on YouTube, you'll find it. I'm not going to show you that. So that's it. That's a pretty simple process. I hope that was helpful. It's easy to set up a reel. You shouldn't have much problem. You might want to take a look. See, you always want clearance here. And I think I did this just about right, actually. You want this as wide as possible so you don't have so the fly line doesn't get coiled up too much, but you do want enough space there. If this thing, after I rolled it up, was rubbing against there, I would have taken all the fly line off and removed some of the backing. Okay, this fly line's kind of cool too. I don't know if you can tell. It's sort of this orange peach color for the casting part of the line, the heavy part, and then it goes to like this kind of olive color, and then the backing's white, so it looks really cool, especially on this cool multicolored reel. All right, that's all I have for you today. Hope to see you again in the future. Press the like button, press the subscribe button. All right, we'll see you. Bye.